Sorry, I was vibrating in
welcome
sympathy with you. Yeah, there we
Dr.
go.
Feelgood, PhD, to the show.
Oh, hey.
Thank you.
A guest,
I'm not a medical doctor.
No, he's a doctor feeling great.
Yeah, I'm just a doctor who feels good, PhD.
Sets you up.
Yeah.
Sets you up nice.
Mm-hmm. What do you got for us today, boys?
I got a cool one.
Do you?
Kind of Captain Coochie-esque.
Okay, I like this.
right.
Sometimes I forget that Captain Coochie isn't just like a dirty thing, but actually key lime pie. Is what I forget sometimes.
Delicious key lime pie. So this is from user Letter Theta on the Internet Mysteries subreddit. This is an incredible, sort of interesting little thing that's just kind of like under the radar, but I have some links you can check out as I go, and you can see. I'll read through this, but just it's a thing that is giving me major Captain Coochie vibes, and I thought it was kind of interesting. This is a post called "Large Group of Bizarre Connected Wikis and Related Sites. Relatively sure it's a fraudulent certification scheme, but would like outside input. Hello, Internet Mysteries people. I apologize if this doesn't meet the criteria for this sub, and I'd be grateful for direction if it isn't. But I felt I was interesting enough to share. In May of this year, a friend of mine was attempting to scrape several wiki hosting sites. Eventually, they began doing so with Wikidot and immediately came across several dozen unusual wikis in Mandarin. Almost all of them began with a city name followed by certificate, e.g. Xiamen certificate, which is right here. I'll send you that right now. This first one, boom. Yanchang certificate.
Should I be clicking on these?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. These are weird links.
Up to you.
It's in
Up
Chinese.
to you.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
It's just a Chinese wiki. It's just it's in Mandarin, along with a clear advertisement and a phone number. So I was inclined to write them off as contact information for some scam service. However, in the first one I looked at, which was that first one I sent you, after the advertisement, there was a large block of text apparently complaining about airlines, drunk driving, and Chinese politicians. In another, which is this one here, if you want to look at it, I don't know how much you're going to get out of it because you can't read Mandarin, but there goes another one.
You can, Google will translate it to English.
That's fair. There's a big chunk of repeated text invoking Xitigarbha, followed by a complaint against CGTN presenter Lu Xin for hiring internet trolls. As far as I can tell, none of these text blocks are repeated between wikis, okay? So what we have are almost like messages hidden in entire wikis. At the bottom of most of them is also a link to a different wiki creating chains. The longest I found was 10 long, starting with this one. So if you want to follow it down, here's another chain of wikis for you guys. And I'm out of safety. I'm not going to share these links on the show. You can just take my word for it and go find this post on Internet Mysteries called Large Group of Bizarre Connected Wikis. Okay? Because then you can click on them at your own risk. I don't want to get our fucking show pulled down again for having scam websites in the URL.
yeah, I know.
which was what happened last time. So this one that I just linked you to complains about a massive car pileup. Oh my God. My dog has a toy.
He's having a good time back there.
Hey, stop it. I love you. Stop it.
I ain't gonna do it. I'm just squeaking. There's nothing you can do.
So this one was complaining about a car pileup on the Sui Bay Expressway that the state didn't report on. There was another chain that eventually leaked up to this chain, but I forgot to save it in my notes. Looking into the users that created the wikis, I estimated that for every 3 wikis, there was a new creator account. This is probably because new users get 5 free wikis each. Comparing 3 of them showed that all had identical edit histories offset by a few minutes, which to me indicated bot accounts. Finally, though, this is probably unrelated. All of them share the same gallery, which is this one, though they access it through different links. But this, you can see, is just black and white photos of what the poster presumes to be New York, in which I think they're right about. Just looking at the images in there, but it's like a big giant image gallery of black and white photos of New York. So these wikis share this, and it's a lot of pictures. It's like 10 pages with like 50 pictures each on them or something. It's a bunch of pictures. My friend said there were at least 2,000 wikis in this vein, but unfortunately we have since lost contact and they never showed the full list. While I am inclined to believe them, I cannot prove this number. Once again, I'm practically certain this is just an access portal to a certificate fraud service, but I still would like to know what's with the weird blocks of text. Why do these links chain? Is it an SEO thing? Why is this on Wikidot? I assume it's a cost and secrecy thing. What's with the shared gallery photos? They also include a link of a list of all the links that they saved that have different chains that you can go down that like lead all the way down. And then there's another one that is like this one here. I'll send you that doesn't have the text blocks on it, but it's like older and like nicer looking, but it has like similarities to it and connects. So yeah, this one's like a little bit nicer made, but it's another certificate processing site. So an interesting thing, I don't really know, just an internet oddity that almost feels like some kind of strange AI or like bot behavior. I don't know. There's even a Bandcamp that is part of this thing that you can go to that also has the similar format to it and seems to be a certificate processing service, but it's literally a Bandcamp. And it also has, if you go down to the bottom, you can see all these different tags for more Bandcamps in a chain. It's kind of interesting. There's like, it's just a whole weird kind of octopusing, tessellating internet mystery. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, reading these posts in English, it seems like raving lunacy. Like it's
a
so
lot of
bizarre.
rambling.
Yeah,
it's very bizarre.
So what do you think?
I got to go on internet mysteries more often. These are a treat.
Like, what the hell is this? Like, I understand that like there could be some sort of SEO scam, but I don't really understand what a certificate is. Like a certification scheme, like I guess like getting certifications for jobs. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fascinating rabbit hole that just goes and goes and goes. And it's more interesting nowadays since our browsers can just translate languages quickly. So if you have a chance, go check that one out. I'll give you a link to the post actually, if you guys want, but I just don't think I'm going to include the links in case it bodies anybody's computer.
Fair. Let's take us out of the land of weird scams into the land of potential scientific firsts.
Oh.
A startup claims to have successfully achieved the first chat between two dreaming humans. Researchers for a California startup claim they achieved the first ever communication between two humans dreaming in what they dubbed a historic milestone. REM Space, a San Francisco Bay Area based neurotech company focused on lucid dreaming and sleep enhancement, shared that they have now twice had, quote, two individuals successfully induced lucid dreams and exchange a simple message. The company claimed the participants were sleeping at their homes on September 24th when their specially developed apparatus, like a fucking thing on their head, remotely tracked their polysomnographic data through Wi-Fi, recording their brain waves, blood oxygen levels, heart rate, and breathing during sleep. After the company's server detected that one of the candidates had entered a lucid dreaming state, it generated a random word and repeated it to him via earbuds. The company has not shared the word, which was allegedly only known to the participant and repeated in his dream state, but his response was then recorded and stored on their server. 8 minutes later, the second candidate entered a lucid dream, and the server transmitted the stored message to them, which they repeated upon waking up, marking the first ever quote-unquote chat exchange in dreams. Researchers at REM Space have achieved, this is from them, quote, researchers at REM Space have achieved a historic milestone demonstrating that lucid dreams could unlock new dimensions of communication and humanity potential. The company said about the last month's experiment. Lucid dreaming occurs. If you don't know what lucid dreaming is, it means like you wake up in a dream and you kind of know you're in a dream. You can have control over the dream. Sure. I haven't lucid dreamed before. Have you either?
By accident, briefly in a dream, but never like have I induced lucid dreaming like one of those ways that people do.
Yeah, me either. So basically they measured their brain waves when they were supposedly like saying, like, it's a bunch of stuff that I don't understand. However, it's interesting. And they go on to say that though the startup has not disclosed how the technology in its specially designed equipment works, REM Space announced that the last week that the paper on communication within lucid dreams has already been written and submitted for review to a scientific journal, and that it anticipates its publication within the next 2 to 6 months. So it's off to a scientific journal now. It's being reviewed, and I imagine if it gets approved, they'll probably like show how it all works. And
it's really similar to the study that we did in the Dream episode with Pat, I think it was a couple of months ago, where it was like they were able to like sit in two different rooms and like give a math problem to each other or something like that. But that was like
so I vaguely remember this.
But that was like both subjects in the same lab. This seems like almost like an evolution of that, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to see if it's possible. It's weird. I know human consciousness is fascinating. Dream state's fascinating. So it's just weird what can be done and what can't. All right, Jesse, what do you got? Take us out of here.
Quasars is what I have.
Okay.
Quasars, the extremely bright celestial objects that are believed to be like a bunch of massive black holes together, sucking up every damn thing. The current theory
is like really clear.
Evocative, yeah.
The current theory is that they play a role in the evolution of galaxies in some way. I don't have an idea of how that works. But
Quasars?
Quasars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they're the ones that like flash a lot, right?
Yeah. They're the ones that when you see a bunch of footage of like deep space blinking at you, it's a quasar. Yeah. Many of these objects are they're considered a long time ago by our standards because we're seeing like way back in the past, but they occupy galactic neighborhoods where there's dozens and dozens of quasars, and these are called quasar fields. However, because we have gotten some really great stuff with the James Webb Telescope, some questions have come up that we have not had to deal with before. So basically, some of these objects, these quasars, exist much further apart from the galaxies most commonly associated with them. So, astronomers are using the James Webb to find these lonely quasars that appear to date back like more than 13 billion years, raising a lot of questions about like how they could have formed at such an early period in the universe's life. And assuming that, quasars exist in areas dense with primordial matter, because quasars need something to feed them, right? Like that's the whole point of a quasar. If you Google quasar, you'll see kind of what the image is, and you'll understand, that definitely needs something to eat, right? Because it's like, it's looks very cool. Quasars are awesome looking.
Quasars are cool as shit. Space is cool as shit.
But new observations out of MIT question how these ancient objects could appear in regions without, like I said, evidence of matter-rich galactic environments, right? If they got nothing to suck up, there can't be a quasar. One possibility astronomers propose is that these celestial giants may have formed in areas where, there may be galaxies that we never even have seen, thought of, considered before, but perhaps they're obstructed by quantities of cosmic debris and we just can't detect them. The problem with that is, since accounting for the presence of quasars and all these other things in the universe, the 13 billion years is a problem. And the cosmic process for having all the matter around really wouldn't have, there wouldn't have been stuff to suck up at that time period. And if there was and they were sucked up by quasars, how would it have spread? How would we have existed? Like that kind of thing. And what kind of large objects could have fed into these quasars that are so very, very, very old? The main question we're trying to answer is, how do these billion solar mass black holes form at a time when the universe is still really, really young, says Anna Christina Eliers. And I think that's fascinating. I'm super, super interested in this because it's one of those things where it's like, again, we just discovered something crazy new that we don't understand, and I don't know how we'll figure it out. This kind of goes back to a few weeks back, there was an article about new theories into what dark matter is and how dark matter may just be something else and not dark matter. But it still, I guess, technically would be dark matter because it's just another thing taking dark matter's place. Like, they don't... It's fascinating. The more we learn, the less we know. I love this kind of stuff. They're like, how is it possible? It goes back to the idea of maybe light speed. This is another thing that came out recently that I think is fascinating. light speed as an idea, we think if it goes speed of light, it goes the speed of light forever. But there is now science that is like, well, maybe speed of light over time slows down.
Tired light. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. Tired light.
Well,
and so maybe that changes how we would see the universe, is if the speed of light eventually decreases, what does that tell us? Which is a whole other thing. Fascinating.
It's interesting because I read another theory the other day about because like space is just like every time we look at it, it's like doesn't make sense as we understand it. And they were talking about quantum science and like, you know, until something is measured or observed, it is all things at all times. And it's just the idea of like, what if everything exists at all times and its consciousness forces a measurement, because that's just how it, like the only way we can kind of push through like our existence, that consciousness is forcing something to pick a state for our own self.
I'm not gonna demand our audience or you two gentlemen watch this, but if you're inclined to have some fun, the new Disney Plus Agatha series.
It's actually really fun. I'm actually super loving fun. That show. It's
the most
great.
Recent episode. I guess. But by the time you hear this, not the most recent, the previous episode before the most recent.
The tarot card, Lilia.
Yes, literally is kind of that, where it's about time not having meaning, but also existing at the same time. And everything that it's fascinating. The premise,
she's unstuck
rocks.
From time. Essentially, her consciousness just free flows through her existence, and it's just like, and she can't control it. And it's like, it's great. It's definitely really
it's
cool.
the idea that like she sees all of those times, so she isn't just in the present. She isn't just in the past. She's like everywhere. Hops back and forth, but she sees all of it at the same time. And has trouble expressing it, which I think is such a cool concept. I don't want to spoil what happens, but it's like dope. And it's this kind of vibe that I was like, yo, this might be the best episode of this show. I was like,
it's
whoa.
Great.
What?
And they did a great job.
Agatha all has been great.
And I love that they had such a strict budget, so it forced them to just like really use every ounce of it. And
it's basically just they hired a bunch of really great actors, and it's clearly made on the cheap
and stuff.
Yeah, compared to other Disney, it's made on the cheap, and it's like just fun.
But the story is great. It's fun.
Like a fun story.
I'll take that. Did you guys hear did you hear they discovered a new Mayan city yesterday?
Yes, I did see that.
They keep discovering them in the jungles. They keep doing
weird how that happens.
Yeah, but again, that also goes back to the idea of the famous story that Cortez went into the jungle, saw all these amazing cities, left, came back, and when he did, everyone was dead, and the cities were empty because they killed them with disease.
Yeah.
Like the Europeans just killed, and so it took so long for them to go back and come back that when they got there, everyone was dead.
Ravaged
and that's
already.
I can guarantee that happened with so many civilizations in like the deep Amazon. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I would, for sure.
Crazy.
Well, on that, gentlemen, we'll leave you. Thank you guys so much here at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. We appreciate your support. We'll be back next week with another mini-sode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, well, this is going out after Halloween, so I hope you had a nice Halloween.
Spooky
and
Lucy.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye. Ooh.